What's up YouTube, Team Deception here with a few things that we need to cover. First off, as you see Mr. Snowman Eater here, he wants to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, as well as a safe holiday as well. All you guys drinking eggnog and stuff, I pray that you guys are all, safe, and I hope that you all get what you want for Christmas and whatnot. So we've got two other things that we need to cover. I've got two presents for you guys. One, if you haven't already seen it, which a lot of the big YouTubers will probably have put this up as well, we now have an effect for Torbus. Now, all I'm going to do is really state what the effect is. It says when this card is sent to the graveyard, just from anywhere, it doesn't care if it's on the field or whatever, it's just whenever it's sent to the graveyard, you target a monster in either player's graveyard except Torbus from the underworld and shuffle it back into the deck. So, it's a level 3 fiend, it's got 1000 attack, 1000 defense, so you can bring it off of Tour Guide, and all that other happy crap. So, you can, throw that in with Tour Guide, put Sandgame back in your deck, and do whatever. It's great with Armageddon Knight, Dark Rector, and Foolish Burial. So, I mean, if you guys wanted to go on about that. Another thing I kind of like is, now that the picture's a little more clear, you see, I think it's Soul Absorbing Bone Tower in the background, which is actually really cool. But yeah, I figured I'd kind of get that out of the way. Torbus has an effect now, and so that's one of the presents out of the way if you guys haven't heard about it yet. The other present is, I know that in my last deck profile I had asked for 10 likes on that video or whatever, and then I did my binder video and said if I can get at least 5 or so likes on that I would do it, but I haven't really reached 10 on the Lancer deck profile, 1 or 5 on the deck, or not on the deck of the binder video, but because it's the holidays I figured I would do a deck profile anyways. The one that was most highly voted was this guy's Karakuri's. So I had to recharge the battery. I tried doing this video earlier and it kind of, whatever, so I'm going to try and do this a little quickly. So if I go a little too fast and you are curious about something, leave a comment down below asking me, whatever questions you may have. Anyways, let's start off with our main deck, obviously, and our monsters. Sereni Samu, your giant rat for the deck, basically. Summon out any Karakuri that's level 4 or lower from your deck in attack mode. Just summon out another of it, summon out a tuner, summon out whatever you want. Usually you bring out Nishi if you need to, or whatever. You can use it to bring out another material for one of your synchros or whatever. So, next up, pretty much your bread and butter for the deck. 3 Nanishi. She's your Bogart. Summon her and use her continuous effect to summon again. They pretty much have to warning this or veil her at the second hits the field or whatever. So, because if I'm not mistaken, her effect doesn't activate, it just happens. So, yeah. Like, if you try to... I can understand how it would kind of work, but it's hard to explain. Anyways, next up you get your 3 Stratos, your Inishichis for the deck. Level 2 guy, so he's also an Earth, so you go into Nature, you beast a lot with him. You can bring him from the deck off of your synchros. You can use it to search out a lot of your, or like all of your Karakuri cards. By the way, this is a pure Karakuri deck, so at least in the main deck anyways. Up next you got 2 Strategists, switches the battle mode of a monster when it's normal or special summon to the field. He's a 1600, and so, it's just there. He's also a level 3 tuner. Late game, this deck tends to run out of monsters. I only run, I think it's like 13 monsters. And I tend to run out of monsters quickly, and if I have already used my Avarice, which yes, I do have that in here, we'll get to that. If I've already used my Avarice or I can't draw into it yet, I use Quick. Excuse me. Throat's acting up. When she's a one-of, because really pretty much there's only 2 things that she's really used for, and both are to pretty much just, result in a synchro summon. One is to help me reuse my tuners, and the other is just, be there for a material monster, for like Nanishi if she's in my hand with this or whatever. So, but yeah, she's only 1700, and there's not much she really does destroy this format. That, but it's just there to have it. Next, you got your single Saizon, 1800 wall in defense mode, and when it's in attack mode, it can't be destroyed in battle. Of course, they all change their battle modes accordingly whenever they're attacked. So up next is the spells. 3 instant fusions. I know a lot of people may disagree with this. Oh, why are you running that whenever everyone's using Maxi and blah 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 blah. This deck enjoys opening this, Nanishi, and Inashichi. And I'm not even kidding. It's great for just going into Buraido after and leaving your little level 2 guy on the field, and then bringing out him, switching himself to defense, drawing a card off of Buraido, and then going into Naturgy Beast. I mean, that's pretty broke. It helps flood the graveyard for Pot of Avarice and stuff as well. Karakuri's hate back row, so I run Triple Honesty. It's, just kind of whatever. You don't want them warning or using warning on your Nanishis. You don't want them doing all that kind of shit. If they're running something that hurts you regarding, spell, like continuous spell traps, or if you're running against something that's big on field spells or whatever, stuff like that. So, next, another card people may just, be completely against is Cash Cash. People might not like it because of Ryo, but I mean, we're already running one searcher, why not? This is also a very good card. Like with running a few monsters, your Karakuri and Nanishi could be a dead card sometimes without this. If you happen to open this with no other Karakuris except for Nanishi, you can still summon Nanishi. You can either make them, because the opponent doesn't know if you're going to normal summon again or not, you can wait to see if they have a response, whether they're warning it or whatever. If they say it's okay, or if they just Veiler it, you can still search out and make it a setup for next turn or whatever, because she'll still switch to defense whenever it's attacked, and it's got 1900 defense, and this just helps you filter through your deck really quickly. Up next, there's a reason why I'm using this. Part of the reason is because of Beret's effect. The other is Nishipachi and the Cash Cash. They all help switch monsters' battle modes, and it's searchable by Inashichi. And it's basically your United, but you only use 2 because you're not going to be able to get it off too often. I mean, whenever I playtest this deck, there are times when I could actually use a 3rd and actually draw another 2 cards. But I don't try to push it. I don't want to push my luck, so I put it at 2. It's never really a dead draw. I mean, there are times that I could probably use other stuff, but up next we got staples: Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Pot of Avarice, which you absolutely need. Even if you're only running like 13 monsters, this deck really does go through them very, very fast, and this just helps put your tuners and stuff back into your deck if you still have Karakuris and Grows you can go into and stuff. So it's just great to have it in there. Last spell is Book of Moon. Let's get into the traps now. Double Mind Crush. You'll kind of understand exactly why. I mean, it's pretty obvious in a deck like this. Double Bottomless for those rabbit players. It's hilarious watching them go rabbit and then go into either double Cabazals or double Sablesaurus just for you to flip Bottomless on them and lose both of their dinos, and being unable to get them back unless they go into Levier. And actually, put it into the graveyard again that way, so they can recycle it back into their deck with their 1 Avarice. Next is kind of standard. You kind of have to have it in pretty much every deck right now. Warning. 1 Solemn Judgment. I don't use Mirror Force in here. This deck has a problem with, it depends on your situation really, but it has a problem with Starlight Road and Stardust. If I happen to play something that's gonna, destroy multiple cards and they go Starlight Road, I just want to run as few of those as I can, and I'm running a total of 3, excluding from the extra deck, 4 if you count Black Rose. So yeah, instead of Mirror Force, I do have the E1 of Dimensional Prison. It's just great for removing shit from play instead of allowing it to, 1 Torrential, kind of, whatever. It's not as slow as Mirror Force. Single copy of Dust Shoot. It's just great early game, pushing something back into their deck, and then they just can't do anything about it. And lastly, a Dust Tornado, just for that, last ounce of back row hate. I mean, this deck really does hate your opponent's back row, and if it can't get rid of their back row, then it's hard for them to be explosive, and this deck's more aggro than anything. I mean, it really wants to get its plays off. So onto the extra deck. I run, even though I have 3 instant fusions in there, I run 2 copies of this. Part of the reason is because I have Pot of Avarice in there, which means I can recycle it back in, and I hardly ever draw into I hardly draw into the 3rd instant fusion in any game. And the reason why I run 3 instant fusions is so that way I can draw into it a hell of a lot faster, because you want to open it with one of your level 3 tuners indefinitely. You just want to open it with that. So, double Cybersaurus for the obvious Burrito plays. Catastor is another card you can use for making Burrito if you really wanted to. But it's also there for just getting rid of like Zen mains and stuff, just attacking into it and whatever. Pretty standard. This is kind of a must, and if you're a Karakuri player that's not using it, you either better be poor as crap or you're just retarded. Jury Beast, you can easily make this turn 1 and put a hell of a lot of pressure on your opponent. There are some Karakuri players, including myself, I might actually try this myself, is using Decree in their Karakuris with since they have the ability to turn 1 this, and it's just way too good to pass up. Got the staple Brionac. You kind of have to have it in most decks just because of those off chances you could synchro summon. I only use 2 of this because I have the Black Rose. I'm supposed to have a Landoise in here. The next card is the replacement for Landoise because, again, I don't have one. And I can actually make it even though I can only use like 1 card to make it. Anyways, 2 Berets, pretty standard. When it's synchro summon, you special summon from your deck, and you can switch the battle mode of any monster on the field once per turn. So, and it gets over Stardust. Like I said before, Stardust can be a problem for me, but that's only if they, manage to clear my field after I, make an explosive play and then put up a Stardust. It becomes hard to kind of get over it, and so, yeah. 2 Berets just for being a Karakuri. Naturia Barkion, like I said, I don't have, Landoise, and I can technically make this. I can make it with, Saizon and Inoshichi. It's just in here just because, it's kind of like a generic Royal Decree. If I can get this out with my Naturia Beast, it's kind of the same thing as running Royal Decree. Pretty standard Black Rose. I can make level 7s out the ass. So that's part of the reason why I only use 2, Up next we got 3 Steel Shoguns. You run instant fusions in here and it's just retarded. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to say, oh, why don't you just use Cyber Dragon over instant fusion? Cyber Dragon clogs. Instant fusion can as well, but I don't, like I said, I don't draw it as often as people might think. And running it in 3, even though I only have 2 fusions, is not bad. It's been playing very, very well. Robbie Cole, aka MCole40, was watching one of my duels on Dueling Network a little while back, and he came in like right after I had finished doing all my plays, and I had, I think it was 2 Burrito, a Beret, and a Naturia Beast on my first turn. So if that doesn't kind of give you an example of what it can do, then yeah. Next up, you got the one of Scrap Dragon. It's Scrap Dragon, for real. Stardust Dragon, just to be in there to, do shit. And lastly, Mistworm. The reason for Mistworm is because I don't have a Trish, and whenever if I can make it, and I want to make an explosive, if I can keep going and make an even more explosive play, this removes more threats from the field or forces a warning or whatever. So, Mistworm is still just as good for this deck as Trishula would be. So that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know what I'm going to side for this really. This is more of an OCG based deck. I got the idea from the OCG, namely things like the anatomies and stuff like that. It's been playing really well. The first serious deck that I play tested this against in real life was Drain TG, ironically, which is my main deck, and I wrecked it every single time. Well, not every single time, I guess. It was 1 or 2 losses, but even though he kept playing skill drain on me and shit, I still won. And to this day, I still don't exactly understand how this deck did that well. I also played against my friend Team Impact JT when he came over on his way home from regionals here in Connecticut, and he was playing Agents, and I actually beat him. I think it was 2-1. or we kept playing and it was just like a record that like just can't remember. Either way, I do remember actually hurting agents pretty badly with this as well. I haven't play tested this against Rabbit yet, but Karakuris are still doing pretty well. I mean, in the last YCS over here in the United States, they did pretty well. If I'm not mistaken, I think they got like, what, second place or whatever. But yeah, another thing that I kind of want to mention in this video is that I do not like Neutron. I mean, it's so easy to affect Valor, or if you're doing it at, you know, late game or whatever, it's usually just going to get bottomless or warning. And the thing about it is, Cash is so much faster, and I can actually search it out with my level 2 guy. I mean, seriously, I could just go summon him, bring out Cash, switch to defense, search out whatever I want for my, so I can, you know, make my setup even faster. And again, that's just what this deck wants to do. It wants to set up its plays as fast as possible and put down as much pressure on the opponent as they can. I mean, if I can put my thumb down on you and keep you down, you're not going to get up. So that's pretty much what this deck does. And with that, I guess I'll finish off this video. I'll leave the link to this right here, this, you know, sexy little thing, in the, you know, down below in the underwear, underbar, under whatever. I'll also leave other stuff if I can think of anything that I need to put there. Also, if you guys want to do shout outs, you can. I'm gonna actually cover this maybe later on. I'll think of something that you guys can give me. It won't be, you know, outrageous. If you want to put your name in my sub box, you can give me $1 for 3 days. Like, if you can donate me $1 for, like, you know, whatever, I'll put you in my sub box for 3 days. But the deal only lasts for a month. You can only do it once a month. So yeah. Anyways, that's everything. Like I said, Merry Christmas, guys, and Happy Holidays. Like, thumbs up the video, favorite it, share it with people, etc., etc. Click some shit, and all that other good shit. Peace, guys.